You are listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, hosted by Erin Walker and Heather Dyer.
We're friends trying out recipes in our own regular home kitchens. We hope our experiences will inspire you to get creative in the kitchen.
I think this is a completely valid way to maybe have a meat alternative. Sometimes as soon as you make it, you know that you want to go back and do something different. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Three Kitchens Podcast. My name is Erin Walker, and with me always is my co-host Heather Dyer. And we are coming at you from a new platform today. We're trying out some new recording technology, and hopefully we just look and sound as awesome as we always do.
Hopefully. I'm crossing my fingers.
New year, improving new things.
Yeah,
and
I hope so.
This episode is kind of a new year, new things. It is a meatless recipe that I'm going to take on today. I found it in an issue of The Guardian that I got in the mail. We had a postal strike here in Canada and nothing was coming in. And then I got like a whole pile of my little magazines in, and now my first thing that I do is flip to the recipe and check out the Venn diagrams because I usually get a good chuckle out of those.
Okay.
They're jokes. They're Venn
I don't even know what it
jokes.
is. I don't. Okay. I'm like, what kind of science stuff is in this book? Oh,
it's just like it's making fun of something political and comparing it to something else. So it's like climate change policies and picking up a kid from a birthday party. And it's like the critical point of overconsumption has been passed. And that's the thing that brings the two together.
I
so
see.
It's two ideas in two circles. And then where they overlap is the funny.
Okay. I'll trust you on the funny part.
It's just not okay. It's a little bit nerdy, but bear with me. However, I found a great recipe in here that it sounds like something I want to try making, and it takes me down the tofu road again. And I was really happy with what I created last time when I cooked with tofu, and that was that buffalo chicken tofu, which I'm using some air quotes for chicken because obviously it was tofu, but it was breaded. It was marinated, breaded, and then baked in the oven. And it had like a great crispy exterior, and it was soft and flavorful on the inside. And
And you made your own buffalo sauce. None of that store-bought stuff for Erin. No. She's like, I just sort of made it up. I just threw some things together, and literally it tasted just like buffalo wings.
There you go. Because I've learned from Heather, who can pull anything out of her fridge at a moment's notice.
Well, sometimes.
So we'll try this out. These are going to be tofu. I almost called it tuffalo. I'm not sure. Buffalo and tofu crossed in my brain. All right. These are called tofu meatballs in lemongrass curry.
Ooh, that sounds good.
All of that just hits the right spots for me. So I don't think this is going to be too onerous to make. It's using a package of firm tofu, breadcrumbs, chili paste, and pepper, and all of that is getting blended together. So you put all this stuff into a blender and then scoop it out like you would a meatball. But instead of a ground meat, we have a blended tofu.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then sounds like they're going to be placed into the fridge so that they can firm up before you go ahead. And it recommends frying them in a pan, but I love baking my meatballs. Like when I make a chicken meatball or a beef meatball, I always put them into my oven and bake them.
And
because I find it, sorry.
Do you brown them first and then bake them or no?
I don't, because I find it such a pain in the butt, especially like a chicken. Like if you have ground chicken, that stuff is no better than like, I don't know, peanut butter. Like it it falls apart right away if you try and put it in a pan, and then you end up with just
Yeah. Because it sticks, and then
ugh,
you try to flip it or move it, and it's just falls apart. Yeah.
yeah, it never works for me. So
Mhm.
for a very long time, I've been baking my meatballs, so I will probably use the same sort of method with these guys. And then we've got lemongrass, garlic, ginger, and lime, as well as some of this chili paste and some oil. And we're going to blend that all up together and then put it in a pan, cook our aromatics, our aromatic paste, and then we add some coconut milk to it. And then we pop the meatballs back into that paste, and you've got tofu meatballs in a lemongrass curry.
That sounds delicious. I love anything with lemongrass.
Yes,
It's like
as do I.
it's the thing I never think to buy and cook with, but it's so delicious when you have a
Yeah.
recipe that has it. It's just
I buy it frequently. I love having a little bit of it in my broth bin or my broth bag. So when I got a little bit left over, I will pop it into there and it'll go into my chicken broth and it just
oh.
such a good flavor. I also have made a recipe before with ground chicken where you use the lemongrass stalk as the skewer and you put the ground chicken around it.
Mhm.
That is so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
great.
all these flavors just sound delightful to me, and I think it'll check a few boxes. I don't think it's gonna be terribly hard to make.
A lot cheaper than meat as
It's gonna
well.
be cheaper than meat. Yeah, I picked up the tofu yesterday, and yeah, the price for 2 packages of tofu was definitely cheaper than what it would cost for you to take ground meat and do that, especially
Mhm.
in today's economy.
Yep.
And I love the idea of cooking more things with this. I think it's a really fascinating ingredient. I remember watching the endless tofu cooking on the Korean cooking show that I had watched a while back, and it was like endless cooking hell or something was their final challenge, and they had to like every 30 minutes they had to make another, or every hour, I can't remember what it was. It was just endless cooking with tofu, and
Oh,
they had to do new things every time and make it restaurant quality good, and if it wasn't, they were eliminated. And they were just all busting out all these different tofu recipes, and I was like, this is fascinating. Like, this is not an ingredient I'm familiar with. This is really cool to see how many different ways you can do it. And so
yeah.
that first leap into tofu recipes was the breaded slab of tofu, and now we're going to try some meatballs. So I think this could be good.
Well, you were successful the first time, so I have faith that you're gonna pull out something really yummy again.
I've never blended tofu in a blender before, so this
Yeah.
sounds like really exciting to me. And we'll see what we get. I also think I'm going to be able to lie to my family about this because I often make chicken meatballs, as I was saying, and so they're kind of a lighter, softer meatball and not like a hard, like a denser, meaty meatball,
Like a beef meatball or
like a beef
something.
or a pork would be. And so, and it's white meat in the chicken. So I think it will be easy to fool my family
Maybe.
into thinking that this is. I always like playing this game with my family. It's dangerous to eat in this house.
You don't know what you're really getting
You never
until
know what you're
after
gonna
you've
get.
eaten and given your review. They have to say what they thought of it before you tell them what it actually is.
Yeah.
We had, I got a while back, I got in my Odd Bunch box, which is a subscription box of like odd and ugly vegetables and fruits, the ones that don't end up in the store because they look a little funny or whatever. I don't
Yes.
know where this one came from because it wasn't funny looking or anything, but it was a little package of those mushrooms.
Oh.
They're like a bunch. They're all connected at the bottom.
Yeah,
but they're
yeah.
like a long stem and a little white top. Like they look like little buttons on top. I forget. They're
Yes.
called beach mushrooms or something, I feel
Hmm.
like.
Okay.
Anyway, so I had cut some off and we had them in soup and I put them into something. I can't remember what. And my one of my kids is just like, who doesn't like mushrooms. It's like pulls it out. What is I think it was in stir fry or something. What is this? I'm like, you have to eat it first before I will tell you. And so he's eating it and he's like, that's a mushroom. You tricked me into eating mushrooms because he knows that I
Yes, I
know
did.
he doesn't like them. I'm like, no, I didn't trick you. I just put them in
Yeah.
and it's up to you to try it. And then he's like, I'm not eating the rest of these, just so you know. It's like, that's fine.
FYI.
They
Yeah.
didn't taste like anything.
No, they just taste like
He,
mushrooms or
d-
sponges, guys.
he doesn't
They're
like the
flavor sponges.
texture.
Yeah, I get it. My kids have texture adversities as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I always
Yeah.
say if you're not lying to your kids about you're
Are
not
you
parenting
are
well.
you even a parent?
Are you even a parent? That's right. We famously would eat French noodle soup in our house because the onions were special French noodles.
You make a good French onion soup.
Yeah, I got some beef
Mm.
bones that I need to pay attention to. So I might be making some beef broth here soon too. So
Oh, it's so
we'll see.
easy to get off topic. And okay,
It is.
we're having tofu.
We're having tofu in meatball form. Hi, listener. If you're into all the foodie things like us, you're probably scrolling food, photos, and videos on at least one of the social apps. Whichever social media app is your favorite, we're probably there too.
Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Threads, or TikTok, or all of them if you're as crazy as we are. Say hi and let us know what recipe you'd like us to tackle next. Links to our socials are in the show notes. Now, let's get back to the show.
Well, we've been doing this a while, but we still seem to be just a
Every
little
so
bit
often.
behind when
Once in a
life gets in
while.
our way.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about these tofu. I feel I have this thing about
Meatballs?
calling meatballs, and I see you putting up your
My air quotes.
chicken sticks here,
Meatballs.
but
Yeah.
I don't know what to call non-meat alternatives, and calling them soy balls sounds
Mm. Anything as a ball, even a tofu ball sounds.
Yeah, I know. Meatball is totally passable. Everything else just sounds kind of.
Well, at least saying meatball, you understand
Right?
what you're getting,
Exactly.
even if it's not made of meat. I think it's an okay word to use.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a chat about making these. I have some thoughts, comments, ideas, opinions, but let's
As we should have, or else what are we doing here?
or yeah, exactly. Why'd you show up today? It's okay. We've been with family for Christmas, so we have lots of opinions we haven't been sharing. So now I get to share them all, but not about family.
Okay, good. Let's skip that.
So I had 2 packages of extra firm tofu that I crumbled up. I added in 115 grams of oats and 50 milliliters of sambal oelek, which is like a red pepper paste in a jar. Ooh, I
okay.
should have brought it. You know what? Pause here. I'm getting the jar.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
this
oh,
is-
that. Yes, I've
Yes.
seen it, and I do know
We've
it.
all seen it on the shelf
Yeah.
at the store. There were a couple different types to choose from. This one was fairly low in sodium, was the one thing that defined it differently than the other one. I would say the higher sodium one might have been better, or add salt if you're going to get the lower sodium one, which I did not do. So I would recommend that when you make up your meatballs. Anyway.
Okay. We always think that the low sodium option is better, but you
Well,
forget
then
about
you
flavor.
control the sodium, right?
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
didn't put that into my mind as I was like, oh my God, I'm making these tofu meatballs. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. It always feels like I don't know how to cook. When I start cooking these recipes, like, I don't know about you, but I get like the hot sweats of like panic as I'm opening this recipe book of like, Do I know what I'm doing?
And part of it is because we get out the camera
And there's
and
that.
we film what we're doing just so that we have some clips for the viewer to see on social media. And that feels like this weird pressure we just suddenly put on ourselves. I'm like, does my stovetop look clean? And then, well, do I know how to stir the whatever? Like, it is this weird thing when it's like someone's looking at you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mental game we're still playing out here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so those 3 ingredients I tossed into a food processor. I just have like a wee little one. So I mixed all this together in a bowl first, and then I blended it in the food processor until it became a nice paste that I could work with. So I popped this through my little food processor in a couple batches until I got a nice paste that I could work with my cookie scoop to serve out my meatballs. I scooped them all onto a parchment lined baking sheet and then baked them in my oven for about 10 minutes at 400 degrees because that's how I do, like a chicken meatball or what have you. I brushed each of them with oil before they went into the oven because I thought this looks kind of dry.
Mm-hmm.
And based on now what I have learned, I might have gone with a medium or a firm rather than an extra firm because it is the densest, least moist tofu.
Okay, so as they take the moisture out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking for this, I would have done something, either put some more oil in there or fat of some sorts to make them just a little bit juicier. I'm not sure, but I feel like they were just a little bit too dry.
Are you waiting for my? I did not think they were super dry, honestly. I didn't really think so.
Okay.
But where does the lemongrass come in?
So then to make the curry that these meatballs are going to be cooked in, this is where, man, I struggled, Heather.
Oh no.
So it was lemongrass, garlic, ginger, lime juice, and some more of our sambal ground fresh chili paste. All of that was supposed to get blended together in a blender and then fry up that paste in a pan, add in your coconut milk. Yum, yum, yum.
Mm-hmm.
I could not get this to blend in my Ninja in any sort of blendy type way. I had these long strands of lemongrass that was like chewing grass. It was freaking not working. I don't know how much I tried. I couldn't get this to blend and break down into a paste. It was just it wasn't working out for me. I really was. Yeah, it wasn't happening. So whatever, I finally was like, okay, well, this is as blended as it's getting. And I put it through my food processor. I put it through my blender, put it through my food processor. I was like between these two things and like, why isn't this fucking working?
Oh.
So I dumped it into the pan and fried it up and thought maybe these long grassy things will break down better. They didn't. So then when I served it up to myself, as much as I enjoyed the flavor, the texture killed us. It was just like, this is awful.
Oh no.
The flavor was good. The texture was a fail. So then when I set aside your serving, I was like, I'm going to strain out all of this roughage in my curry. Because if I give you this grassy curry, it is just not gonna fly, and you're gonna be like texting me the WTF is this, Erin? What are you trying to make me eat? So I think you had the best serving that there was out there. Maybe I just don't know how to work with the lemongrass. Maybe I needed to chop it into smaller little pieces before putting it into the blender so that I didn't end up with these spears of grass. I would try that maybe next time. Maybe I should have been putting oil into
the mixture of lemongrass, garlic, ginger, and lime juice to help lubricate everything so it blended easier. Maybe I should have strained it all after I did the frying and coconut milk step.
I'm trying to remember having cooked with lemongrass. I know I have, but it's not something I use often.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember if it is the thing that you put in to simmer or whatever, and then you take it out before you eat. Is it like one of those items that you're not really supposed to chew on? You're just supposed to get the flavor out of it? I have no idea.
The recipe's directions were, and I quote directly, in a small blender, blitz the lemongrass, garlic, ginger, lime, and remaining sambal paste, and 2 tablespoons of oil to make a paste.
Okay. And it doesn't say anything about chopping the lemongrass or...
It says trimmed and roughly chopped.
Roughly chopped? See, that's big pieces.
See, that's big pieces in my mind, too.
Yeah.
So the sauce was a flop in terms of texture, but I loved the flavor in it. I really enjoyed the flavor in the sauce. I just felt like I was a cow chewing my cud. I don't know.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. And just with the texture in the meatball being a little bit drier, the sauce didn't add anything.
So I had this in my mind that it was going to be somewhat similar to chicken meatball. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking of it kind of like I'm going to compare it, even though it shouldn't be compared. It should be its own thing. But, I had in my mind that it looks like a chicken meatball, so I'm going to kind of compare it to a chicken meatball. And ground chicken can be a bit dry.
It can be.
Chicken meatball can sometimes be a bit dry. So to me, it was comparable to a chicken meatball in terms of the texture. A little spongier, maybe is the word. And that doesn't sound good, but it actually was. I thought it was very good. And I didn't find it overly dry, but I also didn't really know what to expect aside from I had in my mind chicken. And I thought the sauce was really delicious. I really enjoyed it. I thought overall, this was really tasty. None of my family ate it because they were having other things. And so I ate them. And so I don't have any more reviews aside from my own, but I really quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I even wonder if I could have put an egg in and a little bit of milk, because that's usually what I do with my chicken meatball to keep it moist and fluffy. I feel like it's a good start, but there is more to be learned from this experiment.
Yeah, I feel like the lemongrass, it's a key flavor ingredient because it really is delicious because of the lemongrass. It's just, how do we put it in there? I'm wondering if you smash it a bit and put the big chunks in, cook it, and then take them out and then see how the flavor, maybe, instead of trying to blend them. I mean, I can see why they don't blend. Makes sense. They're kind of hard.
Yeah, it's like a long fiber.
Yeah. It was not nearly as bad as you kind of led me to believe it might be really terrible. Because when you brought it to me, you're like, let me know if you even want to record about this. You're clearly up to here with the fucking meatballs.
You got the best. You got the best of the balls. I got the worst of it.
Yeah, clearly.
That was the only unfortunate part. I think, it's like everything else. Sometimes as soon as you make it, you know that you want to go back and do something different and change it up. And I think this is a completely valid way to maybe have a meat alternative in a diet. And, maybe it doesn't have to be this flavor in this sauce, right? There's lots of different ways that we put together meatballs with, Swedish meatballs and put the seasoning and flavor that you would put into that. Or I make some with oregano and garlic and an egg and milk, and then it goes with tomato sauce and it's delicious, right? Or make, the Chinese lion heads meatballs, put some of those flavors into your tofu. but I'm going to say go for a higher moisture on your tofu. Especially when you're baking like this, you can have a little bit more forgiveness in that your balls don't have to hold together as firm as maybe if you were frying it in a pan, because if you're just scooping it out and putting it onto a baking sheet, which I do with chicken because it often just like falls apart because it can be kind of soft and mushy. Yeah, you can get away with something a little bit softer and therefore maybe moister, and maybe make a different sauce. Or if you know how to work with lemongrass better than I do, please give me your advice.
Send us all the lemongrass tips.
Yeah.
Go on socials and leave us a comment or send us an email. Just like, we'd love to know, because we really do love the flavor of it. It's so tasty.
Yeah. Your idea of just smashing it up and putting it in the pot with everything and then pulling it out off to the side at the end when you serve. Yeah, maybe that's the way to go.
Maybe. And I mean, it's easy.
Yeah.
If it works, it's at least an easy solution, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy. Sometimes, this is what we do, you guys.
Yeah.
We try recipes that we've never tried. And everybody who cooks at home and who likes to try new recipes knows that it doesn't always work out. It doesn't always turn out the way you imagine it will be, or maybe how the photo looks in the recipe book or whatever. So it's like, that's the fun of it.
Yeah. So I think you can make a meatball out of tofu. Just careful what you're deciding to fry it in.
Yeah. Good job. Good effort.
I'm glad I gave you the best serving.
You were sick when you went to try to eat it too. You had like no sense of smell and taste. You had that cold.
Yeah, so I'm still coming back from that.
Yeah, so that makes a difference too.
Yeah, my seasoning skills are not at their highest right now, shall we say.
Yeah, so I mean, considering all the things, I thought it was actually quite good.
Yeah, I would try it again. I would for sure try it again. I think we've got some good ideas, so hopefully works out better next time.
And now for the fine print. For links to recipes and many other random things we talked about in this episode, check out the show notes or our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Join us over on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok to see what we're cooking up next. And if you love the show, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.
And that's a year, folks.
Oh yes. Okay, Happy New Year.